Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of the Big Freaking Friday Show on the College Football Mafia Network. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Happy holidays to everybody that's out there. We have viewers from all around the country, all around the world, really, and I want to make sure that we're shouting out not only Christmas but New Year's. So holidays works for me. But I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I've got a Christmas present. Ute has something he got from a vendor. Moen, what have you brought to the show tonight?
What do you mean, what have I brought to the show? I brought myself. I'm a gift that keeps on giving.
Let's go.
What are you
I love
talking
it. I
about?
love it. That's fantastic. Well, I appreciate everybody being here tonight. We're gonna have a little bit of a different storyline when we talked earlier today about things to cover, right? Because there's the college football playoff, there's the ongoing saga around the formation and management of the college football playoff and how that's going to work going forward. And of course, Notre Dame was a big story. We covered that on Tuesday, but and this is where this show is going to be everybody listen to Ute because tonight we're going to talk about the University of Utah running Utes and somebody that you might not have been thinking about was going to be coming up. That would be the Michigan Wolverines. So that's going to cover us from top to bottom. We'll obviously get more news and notes into the show, but right away, let's do shout outs and then I'm going to turn some time over to you. And you can kind of walk everybody through how we got here today. If you don't know the news, I'm going to leave it for you to go through it. It's his story, and we want to give him all the time that he has. So quickly, let's do some shout outs. Buckshot Kid, first guys in the house. Good to have you here, Buckshot Kid. Oh, hey, at the College Football Mafia. Merry Boxing Day. That is today, Boxing Day. Evil Badger, that would be Ryan Willie, also in the house. OG members, both of them, to the College Football Mafia family, saying hi, College Football Mafia. Then Big Lubbock, who's first, if not in anything else, certainly our hearts. That would be Lubbock. I hope you're getting excited for next week, Lubbock. I've got a show with a Texas Tech lifer on Tuesday night. That should be a lot of fun as we preview the game coming up that Texas Tech and Oregon are in. Next round of the college football playoff. Here's a comment that came out of nowhere. Jay Chapman, SEC homer, hitting us from the top row there, Ute. At least someone from Utah got accepted to the Big Ten.
Man, there's been a lot of dunks today on the Utes.
I
Totally
haven't
get it
done
and
that.
everything.
I haven't done
Yes,
that.
it's true, and like it is a nice jab and everything. Totally get it. Whittingham did get to the Big Ten, so you got to give him kudos for that and everything. But yeah, I've seen this one a couple times today on social
Okay.
media and everything. So it's been a rough day in Ute land, guys. I'm gonna tell you all the story. What's kind of going on with this too, because I think that there's a lot of context to understand what's going on to give you the nuance you need to see if it was a good call from Utah or not, because that's certainly debatable. Got
Right.
some intel and everything we're going to go over. But yeah, Whittingham got there. I'm happy for Whittingham. I said that last week on the show. I love Kyle Whittingham. I will root for him in Michigan. Of course, my Utes are my Utes. They're number one, but Whittingham and Michigan will be actually number two for me going forward. Love the guys. So, yes, crazy stuff
Okay.
happening today.
We'll finish our shout outs and then I'll come right back to you, Ute.
Okay.
All right, Conundrum in the house. Good to have you here, Conundrum. The Big 12 exists to serve as a training league for the future SEC and Big 10 head coaches and players. Well, I don't know. That seems like an easy dunk from far away, Conundrum, but it's actually not true. Kenny Dillingham stayed home. Joey McGuire stayed home. Kalani Sataki stayed home. So those guys had opportunities long before you got to Kyle Whittingham to be approached by a Michigan. Nobody wanted the job, or they didn't take it for whatever reason. So it's easy to say that, but I actually have a counterpoint to that argument. So we'll get to that in a little bit. FF18 Bus, this is Fergie in the house. College football is in a really weird place. I can't wait to hear Ute explain what happened at Utah. Can we get some rules, please? Can we get a calendar? Can we get together and fix the sport? I hope so, Fergie. I hope so. But around here, you know us. We've been trying to push for changes, small changes that would have fixed college football a couple of years ago that they don't seem to get traction. So we will have to find out. Time will tell. But certainly there's some pain to be felt around the transfer portal, new coaches, and moving from conference to conference. Skaven, yes, in the house. Go Big Red. Hello, gentlemen. Did you have something you wanted to say, Moan?
No, I was just saying, hey, go Big Red to Skaven, yes.
Okay, I saw your
Would
finger
just-
go up. I thought you were putting your hand up.
No, I wouldn't. I'll raise my hand when I.
All righty. Glenn Hanna in the house, the Oregon Ducks. Preview next week. We will be talking about the next games in the CFP. Oregon has to travel to, I guess it's in Florida, that bowl game, right, guys? Texas Tech and Oregon is in Florida.
That's right. That's the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl. So, yeah, Texas Tech's going out there. That is a huge game. I mean, like with everything that's happened this last week, the last 2 weeks in the Big 12 conference, legendary coaches leaving, going to the Big 10, elsewhere. I mean, like this game's become more and more important. It's basically a pick 'em, spread line and everything. Oregon, Texas Tech. If Texas Tech gets it done, instant credibility. But if they lose, guys, it's going to be real bad.
I agree.
It's going to be real bad. Whatever we've heard before, it's going to be worse. So
I agree.
It's pretty critical for anyone that's a Big 12 squad right now. If you want to be respected in the future, that Texas Tech wins this football game versus Oregon. It's bigger and bigger every day.
I would say it's a necessity. I don't think there's any gray area unless it goes. If it's a low-scoring game, that means the defense could do more and they lose at a field goal or something. I don't think anybody loses any face there. But if they lose by 2 touchdowns to Oregon, yeah, absolutely true. The other Gygax, Daniel in the house, contributor and somebody who's a long-standing member of College Football Mafia Nation. Hi, everyone. Good to have you here, Daniel. Thanks so much. It's good to see you. Movie Time Blues in the house saying, was this part of a secret plan to push Utah to the Big Ten by flipping University of Michigan, Ute? I'm going to tell you, it was not.
I mean, like, if it is, it's like the most cloak and dagger thing ever, right? But like, that's not how anyone sees it. I don't even think that Moan could even spin anything like that for Michigan and Utah. So no, it has nothing to do with the Big Ten and Utah. This is just Michigan making a great hire with a great guy. And like,
I agree.
It's for a Ute fan, it's sad. It's sad. I love Kyle Whittingham. And man, I'm happy for him. I hope he wins a natty at Michigan. I know, Moan, you don't want to hear that, but like the guy deserves it. But there are going to be ramifications for the Utah coaching staff and the BYU Cougars we're going to talk about.
Moen, did you want to reply to that at all?
Yeah, I hope Kyle Whittingham doesn't win a game at Michigan.
Okay. He will win games. I promise you that. He will win games. Bob Swanger, Penn State, Nittany Lion in the house saying hi, everyone. Happy holidays there. I appreciate everything you do for us, Bob. Thanks for being that loyal member of College Football Mafia Nation. We really appreciate it. Brick Bat, Viz Counting, Moen, Michigan profiting off apathy in Ute country. Ooh, that is a charge. I don't know. What do you think about that one, Ute?
I don't know. Like the story is more nuanced, has tosses and turns and everything. I'm gonna tell it. I'm gonna let you guys decide on how you interpret it and what you do. Okay. Because like I think it's easy to make when you don't have all the intel that I've heard that we'll talk about. I think it's easy to say like what the heck and everything and trying to understand what's going on, but there's always more nuance than you think. And so let's save this one and see what you think after we talk.
All right, very good. Let's see here. Dallas Marquez in the house. Good to have you here, Dallas, a newer member or newer viewer of our channel. We appreciate you being here. Make sure you subscribe, follow us, and all that fun stuff there, Dallas. We appreciate you being here tonight. Hello, he says. Mr. Monkey says he's first, about halfway down in the shout-outs list. College football upstart. A newer member of College Football Mafia Nation saying watching end of hopefully another Big Ten bowl game loss. Moen, what's the score on that right now?
That game is over. Minnesota won in overtime.
Wow.
And covered
good for
the
Greg.
1.5 point spread. I am 4 out of 5 games on a 5-game parlay.
Let's go.
UTSA wins and covers. 5-game parlay, $186 payout off a $5 bet.
I love it. I love it.
Let's do it.
Just a couple more, and then we'll move to Ute. Caleb Ramirez, a longstanding member in the cloakroom of the College Football Mafia Nation. Appreciate him being here. Shonsky, BYU football, saying, why did Utah ever push Kyle Whittingham out? Give me two more, and then you can jump into the timeline. Dave's here, is a longstanding OG member now of College Football Mafia Nation, saying, I am taking full credit for knowing this. The day they fired Moore, I said it was going to be Whittingham was going to be the guy. I meant Dillingham, but I'm willing to take the credit. That's funny. That's funny. And then one more, and then we will immediately jump into Utes analysis of the University of Utah and Michigan and where they are with their coaching. Becky Gohusky is going to run up our last comment to start the show. Becky contributes around here. We very much appreciate her. Got to love Whittingham getting $8.2 million per year from Michigan. Ute.
Yeah, that's good money, and he deserves every penny. He deserves actually more than that. I was a little bit surprised.
I am surprised. Kalani's getting 9.5.
Yeah, so it's good money. It's great money and everything, but it's not as much as you think. I would have thought it was going to be over 10 million per year.
I thought it was 10 too. Yep.
Yeah. So what are you going to say? It was $8 million, right? You're really going to shade on that?
Yikes. Yikes.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
Okay. Well, I think that's worth one more. We'll get Rock and Rant in here as a very valuable contributor and longstanding member of College Football Mafia Nation. We're going to end on Rock and Rant's comment. Member for 23 months, Moen. Let's go. What can we give a sounder for Rock?
Well, since it's game week, I don't want to give him any pro Miami sounders. So
please don't. Please don't do that.
We're
Miami fans around here.
No, we're not.
Let him cook.
I am.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said, let him cook.
Thank you so much for being a member and somebody who contributes and helps us keep our lights on. That would be Rock and Rant at College Football Express. And he and Miami Flow do a fantastic job. Look him up on YouTube. It's College Football Express. And you can get subscribed over there. Really want to drive as many people there as possible. Okay, Ute, I'm going to turn the time over to you. I don't know how you're going to want to explain this. If you want to jump in at the end and then do history, or I'm going to leave that up to you.
Yeah, let's just start there. If you guys have any thoughts, questions, or the community does, why don't you jump into?
Okay.
But I think that that we should just start from the beginning, on who is Kyle Whittingham.
Okay.
Well, Kyle Whittingham was the head coach of the Utah Utes. He had been in that chair for 20 plus years, I believe 22
21.
years.
Oh, I thought it was 21. But
21, 22 years. His history. So he actually played football at BYU for Lavelle Edwards. His dad, Freddie Whittingham, actually was a coach at Brigham Young University too, a defensive-minded coach, a stalwart really on defense.
Yep.
So he has been around the Utah coaching circles in the state of Utah for his whole life, ever since he was a boy. He was a great player. He played actually on the Andy Reid team too. I believe he was either near the national championship in 1984 BYU Cougars or around that. So Whittingham is basically, he's
82, 83. Yeah, 82, 83. Yeah.
He's football royalty in the state of Utah, and he became the Utah head coach after he was the defensive coordinator for Urban Meyer. So this dates back to about the 2002 football season when Urban Meyer came to the University of Utah after Bowling Green, and Urban Meyer took the program in 2 years to a Fiesta Bowl win. Kyle Whittingham was his defensive coordinator. He had been on the Utah coaching staff for many years, and he was a brilliant defensive mind like his dad, Freddie Whittingham. When Urban Meyer left to the University of Florida back in 2004, 2005, Kyle Whittingham took over as a young head coach for the University of Utah. And he has been the head coach ever since until this recent change within the last month, which we will explain here. So Kyle Whittingham's accolades, multiple 10-win seasons, even this last year, 10-2 season for the Utah Utes, an undefeated Sugar Bowl title in 2008. And yes, somebody in the AP poll voted Utah #1. So there is a contested national championship that people like to joke around with and everything for Kyle Whittingham, because someone did give them a vote in 2008. Undefeated season, beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. That's his greatest accomplishment. Multiple 2 Pac-12 championships over the last 5 years, so fairly recent success. The guy's a leader. He's a general. He's one of the best coaches I've ever seen. He is Utah football to an epitome, defensive, hard-nosed gamer. Okay, let's talk about what's happening at the University of Utah and what's happening for Kyle Whittingham's camp and what's the recent development here. So let me share screen, guys, here. We talked about this already a little bit before, but this is from Pete Thamel. Okay, so Kyle Whittingham, 5-year deal at Michigan. So Kyle Whittingham is no longer the coach of the Utah Utes, but he is the coach of the Michigan Wolverines on a deal that averages $8.2 million per year over the course of the deal. 5 years, 8.2 average. So Whittingham has signed with the University of Michigan from the University of Utah. And the question is, there's a lot of questions that go along with this, but like, what happened that caused Kyle Whittingham not to be the coach at the University of Utah today and now coaching the Michigan Wolverines for maybe the next 5 years, as his deal says? What the heck happened? How did Utah, this is the narrative out there, how did Utah let one of the most legendary coaches in all of college football, certainly in the state of Utah, one of the top 2, really behind Lavelle Edwards, maybe Kyle Whittingham, those 2. How did the University of Utah let this happen? Okay, so here is the story. So the new head coach for the University of Utah, Morgan Scalley, was the interim head coach over the last almost 2 seasons. Morgan Scalley is a disciple of Kyle Whittingham. He was an All-American player when he was at the University of Utah, and he's a true Utah man. He's a younger guy, too, about 45 years old right now. And he was one of the really brilliant guys, defensive coordinators in the game of college football. He'd been tried to be poached multiple times. USC went after Morgan Scalley at least twice. He's been sought after by many programs, but he stayed with the University of Utah because that is his alma mater, and he loves the Utes. So he was named roughly 2 years ago the coach in waiting by Kyle Whittingham, because Kyle Whittingham had always claimed that he wanted to retire by the age of 65. The reason that he wanted to retire by the age of 65 is his father had a heart attack and he died around that age. So he didn't get any time to spend with his grandchildren, his family and stuff before he passed away from the heart attack. So Kyle Whittingham didn't want that to be his life. He wanted to retire, a fairly young guy, didn't want to be coaching past 65 years old. And so that was the deal that was claimed. That was always the expectation at the University of Utah, that Kyle was going to coach until his mid-60s. And that was going to be it. So he could spend time with his family. He'd retire off in the sunset. So this had been the secession plan. This had been the plan for multiple years, guys. Not just this year, but about 3 or 4 years ago, this plan was in place. That's why Morgan Scalley was named the interim head coach. And so you've got this dynamic going on where the expectations are like Kyle Whittingham is going to be retiring around his mid-60 mark. We've got this young up-and-comer guy that's a Utah man. He's stuck around the program after multiple swings at him to get poached. And now we've got this tension that's building. You can see year over year, every year that Kyle stays, every year that it's kind of uncertain if he's going to stay, there's a little bit more tension that's building amongst the Utah coaching staff. Will Morgan Scalley stay? Will he stay another year if Kyle comes back? Will he stay another couple of years? So needed to lay that foundation about who the 2 coaches are that really matter here and what else kind of happened. So what I've heard is that after the Kansas game, Utah was 10-2. They finished the season with a 10-2 record, great record. And Kyle Whittingham was going to let the staff know within the next week what his game plans were. Was he going to retire after this season or continue on for another year? And this in itself was a bit surprising because Kyle Whittingham had always claimed that he wanted to be done at 65. So he had told everybody in the past, last year, first year in the Big 12, that he was going to retire. And so that was the thought amongst a lot of the Utah boosters, a lot of the Utah coaches and stuff. But it was a surprise that he came back this last season. And the reason he came back was because of the debacle of the 2024 football season for the Big 12. Okay, so with all that being said, Whittingham has a decision to make. You just beat Kansas, you go 10-2. Well, Whittingham's mulling it over, and Whittingham quickly become a decisions made that's communicated to my understanding, Mark Harlan, the president of the University of Utah, where Kyle Whittingham originally came back to the University of Utah and wanted a 5-year extension.
He wanted to come back.
He wanted to come back.
Right.
5-year extension. That dollar amount has been estimated around $6 or $7 million per year. He's gotten 8.2 from Michigan for a 5-year deal, so they upped that. Obviously, if he said 6 or 7, the Utes, that was what he wanted from the Utah. But guys, like, and here's another aspect to this too. If Whittingham was just going to stay for 2 years, apparently he wanted over $10 million for 2 years or more for 2-year contract to be like extended for 2 years and stuff. And there's some thoughts too that maybe the private equity money that was coming in impacted the decision to like really kind of offer up a high rate and stuff. It's just going to be a short-term deal for Whittingham.
Right.
But let me ask you guys, okay, given the dynamic of what he laid out with Morgan Scalley waiting for a few years and trying to get poached by their schools and everything, do you understand how there's a tension developing here? Like, does that make sense? Like, you've got a coach in waiting. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll let Moen go first, and then I'll go.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Jay Leno Conan Ryan situation. Kyle Whittingham is Jay Leno, and I mean, legitimately, they told Leno the day he was retiring, and Leno said, "Well, yeah, I don't want to really retire, but I'll go wait in the lobby if you guys need anything." And obviously NBC panicked and fired Conan O'Brien and put Jay Leno in there for another year or two, and because of that, we have Jimmy Fallon. So,
yeah. And here's a little bit more nuance too. I think that's right on, Moen. But like, because of the expectation set that Whittingham was going to be retiring around 65, that set the expectations not just of the coaching, of the administration, but of the boosters for Utah. So the Utah boosters, and we all know that the boosters control college football now. That's why James Franklin's not at Penn State, because the boosters shut off the money supply and basically forced his way out. Boosters are owning each program. We all know that. The boosters had the expectations for multiple years. This was a secession plan. And the boosters, I do not know all the reasons for this, guys, but the boosters really were backing Morgan Scalley. They wanted Morgan Scalley. They understood this was going to be the plan. So when Whittingham wanted to offer 5 years back to Utah and stuff, another risk is that the boosters shut off the funds.
Yeah.
We all know what happens to that. You don't have the NIL funds. I don't care if you got the private equity deal or not. The boosters are going to be part of that private equity structure. So the private equity part is an unknown. Did that have an impact here too? I'm not certain about that. But the risk here was Whittingham was playing the year-to-year game with Utah, and the secession plan didn't come through. Your coach in waiting would leave if Whittingham did stay, and your boosters might shut off the funding of the program. What are you supposed to do?
So,
yeah. Okay.
So I want to jump back. One of the very first shows Ute and I did, it had been announced that USC was pursuing Morgan Scalley to be either their defensive coordinator or maybe even their head coach at some future time. The very next thing Utah did was give the coach in waiting designation to Morgan Scalley. And at the time, many shows, I said I saw negative stuff happening out of that. Now I understand why. Everything you're saying, I'm not mitigating it all, but from a third party perspective, it really seemed like this was a ticking time bomb, because how do you force your legendary, and he's going to have a statue, everybody. It's going to be Kyle Whittingham Field. Kyle Whittingham is the institution, but there were some things that he didn't do well. He didn't do a good job of really keeping those boosters engaged is the first thing he didn't do. Second thing he didn't do is he was a slow adopter, everybody, for NIL. He was a slow adopter, everybody, for the transfer portal, a lot like Dabo Sweeney, a lot like what's his name from Oklahoma State. These are guys that they're older. They've been around a long time. They've been slow adapters or adopters. And the reason they are is because it is very difficult to go out and try to raise money to compete at the levels they need to, unless you have a sugar daddy or a set of sugar daddies to help defray some of those costs. So now let's jump forward and just say Utah was put in a cleft stick. Whatever they did, they were going to lose. They give Kyle Whittingham the funds, he stays, and Morgan Scalley leaves. No doubt in my mind. They bring in Morgan Scalley, and you hope nobody picks up. You hope nobody picks up Kyle Whittingham. But what happened? A perfect storm where nobody wanted to be the coach at Michigan, and he was the safest bet. So,
and Michigan had gone off to Kyle Whittingham before. Like Michigan wanted Kyle Whittingham. The fit is amazing and stuff. So truly it was a perfect storm. The Michigan job opening was not open by the time this decision was made.
Right.
So look, that's the truth though. Like, and to me, the biggest concern, losing Morgan Scalley would be backbreaking because that's your future. You wanted a Utah guy taking over the program and stuff because we know just in the dynamics of the Big 12, the SEC, the Big 10, you want somebody that has history with your program, so they're just not going to leave you when they have some success. Like, so that was pretty foundational that you had a guy under the Whittingham tutelage that was a defensive-minded guy that could recruit. He was the best recruiter at Utah for the last 15 years, guys. You couldn't lose him. You couldn't lose Morgan Scalley. So you didn't want to lose Whittingham either. You wanted them both and stuff. But with the pressure, my understanding really the swing factor was that pressure from Scalley to say, I'm ready now. I've been waiting long enough. And also from the booster saying it's Scalley's turn. That just made it so there really wasn't much of a decision. Like there wouldn't have been success if Scalley would have left and the money supply would have dried. There wouldn't have been success over the next 1-2 years of Whittingham's helm here at the University of Utah. It was not going to be set up for success. It kind of had to happen at Utah. And so I think given that nuance and everything, like we're going to talk about the ramifications of this, but I think that it's honestly kind of a win-win for Utah and Michigan. Like I wish it wouldn't have turned out this way. I wish the hidden dynamics weren't that way, but since they were, like I think that this could win. I think it could be a win-win for both programs. And sooner or later, the University of Utah had to move on from Kyle Whittingham. It became this year, but it could have been next year. It could have been the year after. And the question is, my question all along is like Utah had a very good roster this year. They had the best offensive line in the country this year. 2 of those guys are going to the first round. That roster next year is going to be good, but are they going to be as good as this year? I don't know about that. So I don't know if Utah is competing for a Big 12 title next year. Maybe, maybe not, but it's no guarantee and stuff. And I just don't see getting the program with Whittingham, with Scalley leaving, without the booster support to a higher level than it was this year. Just straight up. I just don't see how that can happen.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry. Finish you. I'm sorry.
So that's all the background. That's what I've heard. Look, not everything's going to be perfect. There might have been some things in there that were slightly different. I'm just telling you all what I've heard. It's not perfect in everything. I just had to get that out because there's been a lot of rumor mill and everyone slamming Utah, like Utah's a fool and stuff, letting this guy go. It's like, well, when your program, when the money supply is threatened to be cut off, we'll see what you do. Because that's what happened to Penn State and James Franklin. And they made the call. They followed the boosters got their way. Same thing at Utah. The boosters are getting their way. Private equity might have had a play in that. I do not know. Maybe, maybe not. But Morgan Scalley is going to be the guy at the University of Utah. Let's talk about now what the ramifications are for the Utah coaching staff.
Wait a second. Let me interrupt you there, Let me interrupt you really quick. We've got a new old member, Skaven Yes, is jumping in and becoming a newer return member of the College Football Mafia family. We appreciate you, Skaven Yes. Thank you so much for being here. Go Big Red. I'm going to give Moen a chance to not only give you a sounder, but then Moen can explain how you become a new member.
Starters, you can be like him and hit the rewind button.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was.
To leave a super chat or become a member of the College Football Mafia family. By the way, new members only video dropped this week.
Yes,
you definitely want to check it out. You just click the little cash icon down there in the bottom window. From there, you can become a member. You can gift memberships. You can leave us a super chat. All super chats get read. So if you got a question that absolutely positively has to be answered, we do have Ute for limited time tonight. You will have to make that a super chat.
Let's go.
Very good. Okay, Ute, let's go to the second half of this story, catch everybody up. So now Kyle Whittingham leaves, and he's going to leave decimation potentially in his wake. The offensive coordinator that had only been at Utah had broken all kinds of records for the university. He's supposedly the next foot out the door. So why don't you talk about recruiting and coaching movement and all those ramifications?
Yeah, Michigan fans are going to want to hear this too, because like there's been whispers, the chatters, what it's going to look like. Guys, like, and Nate, you said it right. It was the perfect storm of a job, like Michigan opening up for Whittingham after this secession happened. Like the odds of that happening, I mean, like it's astronomical, but it did happen, right? And now like and now like the fallout, right? Like, so you've got Morgan Scalley as your head coach. You've got Jason Beck as your offensive coordinator. Morgan Scalley was the defensive coordinator. Now it's been undetermined who the new defensive coordinator will be. It could be Sharif Shah. Anyway, so you're trying to figure out the staffing now for the University of Utah and Michigan now with all the offensive assistants have left. Whittingham takes over. And the big names that have been linked to this too is number one, Jason Beck, offensive coordinator for the University of Utah. The guy is a former BYU quarterback. He is a stud offensive coordinator though, and he's a run heavy kind of stretch run guy. He can play power run. He can play stretch run. He's a specialist when it comes to like running the football. And guys, like, is there anything better for Michigan than like a guy that loves to have a quarterback run and like running the dang football? That makes so much dang sense. Like it's hard to see that not happen. All the smoke, it's even been reported that he's one of the top candidate for Michigan. Jason Beck is a run specialist. Bryce Underwood with Jason Beck would be scary. Like it's such a good fit. I would be shocked if that didn't happen. If Jason Beck wasn't the offensive coordinator for the Michigan Wolverines come in the next day or two. And then on the defensive side, all of the smoke has been on Jay Hill from BYU. Jay Hill was a former Utah defensive back. He was on the Utah staff with Whittingham as a defensive back coordinator. So they've worked together in the past. He played for Kyle Whittingham. Jay Hill is a star defensive coordinator for BYU. He's made that defense what you've seen over the last few years. And guys, if Kyle Whittingham can lay into Jason Beck and Jay Hill, oh my goodness gracious. Moan, I'm telling you, man, this is an all-star staff. like you'll see. Like those are primary targets, right? And then like other fallout too, as far as like assistant coaches that are coming in. Freddie Whittingham, who is related to Kyle Whittingham, tight end coach, really good coach for the Utes. A lot of smoke saying that he's going to jump over to Michigan. Also, Jim Harding, offensive lineman. There's been smoke too that he might consider jumping over to Michigan too. He's a Utah guy. On the BYU side, Sione Puha, who's your D-line coach for the BYU side. There's been some chatter, smoke that he might be jumping over. Basically, Kyle Whittingham is trying to take the best assistants from BYU and Utah and bring them over to Michigan. That's the aim right here. And like, if you think about it, Kyle Whittingham isn't going to be at Michigan for more than 5 years, likely less than 5 years in my view, probably 3 or 4. So who gives a crap about long-term recruiting? You've got that, get the best staff you can, coach your players up that remain at Michigan, go through the portal and try to build a beast in the next 3 years. I think that's exactly what Michigan's trying to do. But there's going to be fallout, like serious fallout from the Utah coaching staff, the BYU coaching staff likely, and unlike anything the state's ever seen.
Smash the numbers. Thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you. He says Wink Martindale will be the DC.
Yeah, I mean, like there has been mention.
Jay Hill out the door isn't guaranteed. Jay Hill out the door.
None of this is guaranteed, guys. Yeah. Like it's just like where the chalk is, like where the favorites are. Things always change, right? We're just talking about really where a lot of like where the whispers are right now. And Stephen Wink Martindale might remain on staff, but here's the deal, guys. Like, he doesn't have a relationship with Whittingham that I'm aware of. Whittingham's got, if you're a 3-year play, do you want to actually develop a new relationship with another defensive coordinator when you can bring a guy you've worked with in that you know can get the job done? I just have a hard time seeing Wink Martindale remaining over Jay Hill. It could happen. It's not a guarantee and stuff. That's just how I see it. He's going to want his people. This isn't a 15-year project. This is a 3-year project. He wants his people to get it done immediately or as soon as possible.
Yeah, my only question in regards to Wink Martindale is, does Jay Hill and Wink Martindale, do they run the same system? Do we know that, or are they completely different systems? I mean,
I don't know.
It's going to depend on what system he wants his defensive coordinator to run.
Yeah.
It might not just be a personality it might be, hey, Wink Martindale runs a 3-4 and I want to run a 4-3. I mean,
it could, Moan. Like, certainly there could be like some scheme differences and stuff where you would be more apt to take Wink Martindale. And like, in Wink Martindale is like a former pro coach and everything in the NFL. Like, he's an absolute stud. He's an elite defensive coordinator. Like, and it certainly could end up that way. I see Jay Hill being the DC personally.
Okay.
We'll see how it shakes out. That could be the swing factor between a 3-4, 4-3. I don't know the scheme differences between the two. I just think Kyle Whittingham's the guy that like wants to be with his guys. And like this, he's a 66-year-old coach now. Like,
yep.
And he's a coach that said he's going to be done at 65, guys. This is a short-term project for immediate success. I just see him bringing everybody over. We'll see what happens.
So let's flip the page and talk about Utah. Utah post Kyle Whittingham, and with some sort of a rebuilt staff.
Yeah, that's the big question. And that's why I'm really grateful, honestly. And I've been getting shaded a lot on social media for this take, but I really disagree with it. I think private equity deal that Utah signed is basically going to help them keep afloat. Because guess what? If the boosters support, I know that like the boosters wanted Scally and stuff, but like you don't have a Cody Campbell at the University of Utah. You don't. And so like with this new private equity deal, can you rebuild the coaching staff with elite assistant coaches under Scally, retain players, and limit the damage on the player side by compensating fairly? I think that they can. And I think the private capital deal will help them retain some players. If you want to say the private capital money is going not to directly to NIL, but to other means, whatever you want to say, at the end of the day, it's going to be an avenue to get more money to the players. And guess what? From a private equity standpoint, that's exactly what they need, guys. They need a successful product or no one's going to buy their product. They're going to need to build Utah to be the best brand that they can be. So then when they want to exit in 7 years and ask Utah if they'll buy them out of their ownership, they want to maximize their returns on that, right? So the only way to do that is to grow the brand, grow the product, and win. That's the only thing that matters. So winning is paramount from the private equity standpoint, from the Utah standpoint. So I think that that's actually going to be a saving grace right now, not a noose on the neck at all.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, how much leeway do they give Morgan Scally? Let's say you talked about recruiting is going to be down a little bit. You're going to lose
recruiting. I don't think recruiting is going to be down.
Okay, you're going to lose some guys to the draft. We're going to lose offensive linemen to the draft. So Utah is not going to have the same amount of talent on its roster this year as they do next year. Correct. How much leeway are they going to give Morgan Scally? Because this is a very similar situation to Ryan Day and Urban Meyer. They pushed Urban Meyer out because they wanted to lock down Ryan Day. And how much leeway are they going to give Morgan? I mean, Columbus had to give Ryan Day a lot of leeway, especially with all those Michigan losses before he won his first national championship. Is Utah prepared to give Morgan Scally that type of leeway?
I think there's an understanding, given like what's just happened, that it's not necessarily a rebuild, but it's somewhere between a reload and a rebuild. I would consider like a rebuild like a 4-year project. I would consider a reload a 1 year. To me, it's like a 2-year project. Like, I don't know, Utah's 2026 campaign, like they've got a pretty light schedule. They're going to get some wins with the current players intact. We'll see what happens with the player movements, with the coaches that do end up going. But I think the Utes are going to win a lot of football games. I don't know if it's 10 next year, probably more like 7, 8, 9 range, I would think, even with the current staff in place. But I would have the expectation of the next 3-4 years to compete and win a Big 12 championship still under Morgan Scalley. So, Moan, to answer that question, is probably 4 year to get to like the Big 12 championship level and stuff. Because, guys, like, I think we need to be honest about, like, in my view, this is my take now, that the private capital deal, private equity deal that Utah did, the reason that it was so much money, it's $500 million, is because Utah, we all know this is nothing surprising, they want to get in the Big Ten Conference. We know that the contracts for the media contracts are up in 2030. We know there's probably going to be material realignment happening in 2028 or sooner. Utah needs to win in that span. And so they need to win in 2027, 28 time range to lift that brand as high as possible, in my view, to make it as valuable as possible to get into the Big Ten Conference. I really think that's why this private equity deal was so substantial. I think that the private equity investors saw that opportunity and realized, hey, if we throw in right now, get partial ownership in Utah football, essentially, through this for-profit entity today, and Utah wins over the next 4 or 5 years and makes its way into the Big Ten, we're going to quadruple our investment. And that's exactly, I think that's exactly why they did that deal for some substantial guys, 100%. So you got to win. You got to win over the next 4 years.
My follow-on question is how much leash, and Moan, you can contribute here too. How much leash is Kyle Whittingham going to get? In my opinion, my first thought was, well, the program's sorted down. He can go in and clean it up and everything. But because we know he's on a term sheet, there's only so long he's going to stay there. I'm not sure he's going to get full control like he needs to. I can see boosters hedging their bets, keeping some of the coaching staff in place so that they can say, see, we at least know what we have in front of us rather than taking a chance. What do you think about that? How much leash is Kyle going to get if he does stay 5 years? And I don't know I think he could, if he wins the national championship, will retire the next year. But that's a question.
He's got to win a national championship first. And it's not going to be a cakewalk in the Big Ten. You've got Indiana, you've got Ohio State, you've got Oregon, Matt Campbell at Penn State. We'll see how he does. Lincoln Riley, is he going to ever get over that hump at USC? I don't know. So it's going to be it's a tough road to hoe for Kyle Whittingham to go in there and win a national championship. But if you ask me the odds versus winning a national championship with him going to Michigan versus him staying at Utah, he's got much better odds to do it being at the University of Michigan.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think they do give him a solid 3 years. I think this is more Ward Manuel trying to save his ass. And he wants to get a guy in there who's a high character guy that he doesn't have to worry about. And I think Whittingham fits that profile perfectly. And I think Whittingham brings in his coaches, and there's probably going to be another head coach in waiting situation there. It's going to be whoever this offensive guy you talked about, Jay Hill you've talked about, whichever one of them shows out the best is probably going to be the next head coach at the University of Michigan.
I'm telling you, Moan, like I realize there's elite coaches everywhere, but like there was the coaching in the state of Utah has been a secret sauce, and Nate knows this. Jay Hill is seriously one of the best or the best in the whole nation as a defense coordinator. Whittingham is a general out there. If you put Jason Beck, that staff would be the best in the Big Ten. I'm telling you. It would be the best in the Big Ten. They could turn that thing in a year or two. They could win the national championship in 2027. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of success quick if he gets his guys in that we're talking.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve judgment. I understand that Jay Hill and Jason Beck have done wonderful things at BYU and Utah, respectively, but it is tougher in the Big Ten than it is in the Big 12.
We both know that.
Right. And you've got to play Ohio State at the end of every single year. You're playing one of the best teams in the country for the last 25 years. So
Well, think of it this way. If Whittingham could win 2 Pac-12 titles before the conference dissolved and beat USC almost every time they played them with all the talent of USC and everything, then Utah turns around and this year wins 10 games in the Big 12, competes for the Big 12 title. He's done a multiple. He did in the Mountain West, the Pac-12, the Big 12. Dude, Moan, he's going to do it in the Big 10.
Okay, but after he beat USC and won those Pac-12 titles, how did he perform against Big 10 teams? Fair enough.
So, yeah. Okay, we've come and we've covered almost everything, but one thing we have to do, and we have to do this because we want to be honest with all the viewers, is what is the nightmare scenario? And this is last call out. Ute is going to leave in the next 15 to 20 minutes. If you want him to answer a question, it'll have to be a super chat from here on out. We're not going to have time to get to these generic comments. I just want to make sure everybody knows that, so you're forewarned and forearmed. Okay, Ute. You have to be able to put on the hat that's discerning and saying, where could this go south for Utah?
Yeah, it could go south for Utah if Jason Beck ends up leaving, as I think he will. The running back coach for Utah, basically, if there's just a complete pillaging of everything offensively, you lose your recruiting, you have a bunch of players transfer out, and all of a sudden, you're basically decimated from a roster and a coaching standpoint. And then with the new pressures of hiring a full new staff, re-upping everything in the transfer portal, getting everything to gel, you start losing games over the next 2 years with the pressure of a private equity, who wants to get out in 7 years and everything, then the pressure will start building. And so the answer to that, the pressure comes if you lose football games. And so in my mind, if you lose seriously, less than 8 wins, guys, less than 8 wins, into the future and stuff, I think that you need to win to make this a successful venture. So anything that's less than 8 wins isn't going to work. And so player retention, coaching retention.
MBM enters the chat. He's back. We appreciate him, the power around the College Football Mafia Nation. Not only is he a longstanding member of the College Football Mafia channel, whatever, network family.
Sorry.
But he's also Oklahoma State through and through, and we appreciate him being here tonight. He did a $50 super chat moment.
Hey.
Absolutely did. That is our buddy who's an Oklahoma State Cowboys fan. He's saying OU sucks. I think that was pretty much demonstrated on the field when they got their asses handed to them by Alabama.
Wow. That game was ugly, guys. That game was ugly.
Yeah, let's he loves Cartman, so we'll give him a little Cartman.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's
oh, that is brilliant stuff.
And then we'll give him his Wild Wild West song.
Well, I'm a badass cowboy living in the cowboy days. Wiki, wiki, scratch, yo, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, large frog, go, says, Sam, high act from the big metal spider. Wiki, 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 fresh cowboy from the west side.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas to you as well, MB.
Merry Christmas to everyone in the chat right now. Stormy Cyclone follows that up with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Stormy. Thanks for being here tonight, saying happy holidays. You got something in there for an Iowa State?
We do. He likes the Cyclone Power. We'll give him that Cyclone Power.
I love it.
We've already played that Iowa State fight song for him. Let's give him a little butter.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Cyclone Power. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the super chat, Stormy. And thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. He's been
absolutely.
Chat. He let me know that they were down 4-0 and I cashed out immediately on that 5-game parlay.
Oh, good for you.
I will take
What
some
was your
money.
cash out? What did you win?
My cash out was $180, but that's still good off of $5 bet. I mean,
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, no doubt. Ute, anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I think the best case scenario too, and how this could be a win-win, is Kyle Whittingham goes to Michigan, brings the coaches over, starts winning football games, and Utah, under the private equity, roster retention, keeping some of the coaches, maybe losing a Jason Beck and stuff, and then rebuilding this thing for the long term, guys. This is the plan. It was basically, from the Utah perspective, moving from a short-term mindset to more of an intermediate long-term mindset, and like with a big jump to try to get into the Big Ten. Like that's really what this aim is and stuff. And like, and Whittingham playing the year-to-year game just wasn't going to work into the future when you had a coach, kind of like Moan said, Ryan Day, Urban Meyer situation that was going to leave. USC wanted him. They wanted him a long time. Like, so I think this could be the best. I think it could turn out well for both programs and everything. I'm not super pessimistic about it, honestly. Like, it's sad seeing Kyle leave, but I don't know with Kyle if next year was going to be the squad that could reach the pinnacle anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you do have to sort of cut bait, right? But it's a tough deal.
Tough, man. There's a lot of nuance, isn't there?
Yes, there is. Lonnie Johansson, valuable member of the College Football Mafia family and a BYU Cougar. Can we get a Cougar in the house, Moen?
Well, not in my house. I don't want any damn Cougars around here.
Give Lonnie a sound.
I'm not a young man anyway. They're not looking for me. So let me give him teams BYU Cougar.
There we go. Let's go.
Put a little cougar up
there. That is very, very cougarish. Lonnie, thank you so much for being a member of the College Football Mafia family. Moen, Ute for 2 years, 23 months.
Dude, that's amazing.
Lonnie Johansson. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Lonnie.
And by the way, I'm seeing a lot of new faces and names here in chat. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Those are all things that don't cost you anything. Help us tremendously as small creators continue to bring this content to you.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, Lonnie said. Okay. I don't think have I missed a super chat or anything?
No, I don't believe so. No.
Okay. So before you get out of here, you pop whenever you need to. We did flag some comments. Let's see if we can get something in here and generate some conversation. Smash the Numbers says we are entering the 7th year of the decade. OSU has one win over Michigan in the 2020s. Needed more to be a part-time coach for that to happen. Michigan is not scared of OSU at all now.
I wouldn't be worried about
it. What can you give Michigan fans to think?
Speaking of Michigan fans, let me pull up a Michigan sounder here.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
That was a painful loss. I remember that distinctly. Maize and Blue, $2 super chat, long-standing member of the College Football Mafia family. Good to have you here. I hope you're excited about you're getting Kyle Whittingham. I know Utes got a lot of things that he can say positive about him. Merry Christmas, fellas. Thanks for the coach, Ute.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I hope that you take him to the promised land.
Now I'll give.
I hope he takes you to the promised land.
Maize and Blue's a Michigan fan I actually like, so I will give him a little. One of the worst fight songs in college football.
That's not true. That is not true. Conundrum says Kyle's a token head coach. Boosters are calling the shots.
That's every program.
but let's see. At least one thing you can say about Kyle is he runs a clean program, right?
Oh my gosh, Kyle Whittingham, no nonsense, clean program. No, this guy is like the antithesis of everything that's gone on in Michigan the last 5 years. Seriously, He's basically like Jim Harbaugh, but actually runs a clean program. Like, seriously, guys, Jim Harbaugh left that program in shambles, had the horrible leadership, cheating all the way. Whittingham ain't going to do any of that. He's just straight tough, guys. Michigan football is going to get back to the Harbaugh way of just pounding people and being like that physical force, most physical team in the nation. Whittingham will bring that if he gets Jay Hill. Oh my gosh, I'm just telling you guys, that defense is going to be so good. Expect to run the football a lot. Expect to play hard-nosed defense. Expect to not have a dynamic passing game. Guaranteed.
That's a fact, actually.
Yes.
You're going to start seeing anybody that's a receiver recruit is going to pop.
It's already happening. Yeah, for Michigan.
Yeah, and leave because that's not what Kyle runs. Let's see here. Mike Ashenfelter, right? Mike Ashenfelter says beating Ohio State is all that matters at Michigan. Whit will not beat Ohio State the entire time he's there. Ute. He's just calling you out.
Look, if you're looking at Kyle Whittingham versus Ryan Day as head coaching quality, I would say Kyle Whittingham. No doubt about it. I don't know. Like, seriously, guys, I don't think that you realize what like the Big Ten's just added here. I think Kyle Whittingham's the best coach in the nation. I really do. So I think that you will see, and he's going to beat Ohio State. Maybe not in this next year, but in 2027.
All right.
We'll see.
Shonsky, BYU football in the house. Michigan isn't going to let Kyle have full control of the football program. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan has a lot of say who's coming in with him. Michigan wants it done their way.
Michigan's way is cheating. It's Connor Stallions. It's all this stuff that you've been going on. Sherrone Moore. It's this garbage. All these coaches being fired. The Michigan way needs to change. It needs to go back to the old Michigan way of like Lloyd Carr, class, and everything. Kyle Whittingham will bring Michigan back to the way they should be, guys. No, the Michigan way needs to change. The Michigan way is not working. It's a failure right now. Kyle Whittingham's going to turn it around.
All right. MBM, another comment. If Kyle Whitt has immediate success and major success at that, he won't retire.
Maybe
okay.
Not.
All right. Smash by the numbers in the house. Look, Michigan won 9 games with Sherrone Moore as literally a part-time coach. I'm pretty much sure Whittingham will outwork Moore, he says. Sorry.
So check this out. I think that all the Michigan fans listening will like this. So one of the Michigan fans on social media today looked through all like who Kyle Whittingham follows, right? Like on X. And they said, okay, I think we're okay because Kyle Whittingham only follows like 3 females. One's his wife and 2 of his daughters.
I saw that. Yep. I think 5 was the number, but they were all family. Yeah.
You're not going to run into issues with Kyle Whittingham running a dirty program.
Fergie in the house again. No offense to Whittingham, but just like Moen said, I do not want Michigan to win anything. Moen is always right.
Absolutely right. Moen's the word.
Moen is the word. Moen is the word. All right. I give you permission on this day to say Moen.
Oh, is the word. I love it. Dave's here, says Michigan boosters picked him too. The boosters finally came to their senses that they weren't ever getting the Bama coach and moved their money onto Whittingham.
I just want to say this. Whittingham is a great it's the best possible hire Michigan could make. And that's coming from an Ohio State fan. It's the best possible hire they can make. I think they're going to give Whittingham a lot more control than people think they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple super chats we got to get to talk about Ward Manuel's job, but
I haven't seen those.
I do think that this Ward Manuel did this specifically to try and boost his prospects of keeping his job. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. I think it might be too far gone for Ward Manuel, but this might be his Hail Mary full of grace to try and keep his job.
Ward Manuel should have been fired. But MBM, another $20 super chat. Thank you so much, MBM. We're very grateful for you. Thank you very much. If Whit rocks out in Michigan, that could grease the wheels for getting the Utes out of the Big 12 and into the Big 10.
My thoughts on that is like
I think that likelihood is very small.
I mean, maybe anything can happen. I just don't see Michigan being all that appreciative necessarily that Utah gifted them Whittingham when they kind of asked him to step aside. But who knows? Maybe it does somehow deepen the relationships. I think Moen had good insights on the Big Ten perspective. Would that be a swing factor, Moen, at all?
I don't think that's going to affect it at all. Michigan was already pro Utah for a minute there. So
why did that change?
You haven't heard that recently.
Why did that change, Moen?
Because they needed to add Oregon in order to get Washington. So
that was that. Yeah,
that was the last I heard about it. Was that Michigan was support, but that was when everybody was trying to offer alternatives to taking Oregon. So, thank you for the super chat, MBM, I'll go ahead and give you MBM. Let me go ahead and give you a little bit of this.
You saying you can't control your bitches?
Pimpin' ain't easy.
Let's go.
Easy. Pimpin' ain't easy. Pimpin' ain't easy. Pimpin' ain't easy.
And that's from the Mormon madman, Nate Bomber Brown.
I was taken out of context. That's all I can say. A few more here. Mark Bowman, thank you so much for being here. Happy holidays, Mark.
You, Mark.
Thanks for being a long-standing OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Does this hire save Ward Manuel's job, Moa?
I don't think so. I really don't. I think there's just
been gone.
There's just too much that's happened under his watch. Yeah, just too much has happened under his watch. He's gonna be out of there, but I think they already I think the people in charge at Michigan have an idea of who's going to be the next AD, and I think that AD is probably on board with Whittingham.
Maize and Blue says also thank you, Bomber, for the DC if rumors are true. Screw you, Maize and Blue. I've been your fan forever. I'm just teasing. I am excited.
What's the probability that Jay Hill? Like, do you think if Wink Martindale
75 or 80%? I think he's going.
I would say 75 is probably accurate for Jay Hill.
Let's give Matt his sounder here, and I want to thank you. I saw your comment on that members only video, and I appreciate that comment because I did spend a lot of time on that video. Let me give you a little sounder from Nate here.
Let me go deeper than that, Ute.
And then for Amazing Blue, we'll go ahead and give him a little sounder from you.
Stop it, Mo.
Let's go.
As you want to.
Oh my gosh.
Mo, the magic on the mic. One more from Amazing Blue, $2 super chat saying Moen got love for you too, my brother.
Appreciate it because these guys say I abuse them.
Moen is using it.
You do abuse us, Moen. Hey guys, I got a jet now, but
okay, thank you so much.
Go Utes, go Wolverines. Moan, go Wolverines.
Make sure you give big hugs to that wife and kids. They're the number one in our hearts, certainly. So Thank you so much for being with us,
guys. Take care. Yep.
You too.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
He is the Wild Ute. As Moen fix our background, that was I think that was really, really incisive. I think he knows, and it sounds to me like he did some research trying to get some of the backstory on what happened with the timing for Kyle Whittingham, and we'll certainly talk about that more throughout the rest of the show. But just what's your top to bottom evaluation? Just now let's assume that all the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator leave from BYU and Utah. Let's just assume that, Moen. What is the outlook for Michigan in the Big Ten?
Well, look, Michigan's already got a lot of talent. It's going to be about keeping those kids at Michigan and not letting them hit the portal. And I think I was smart for them to get Whittingham. I know it took a little bit. There was talks about DeBoer, et cetera. But I think they got Whittingham in there now. I think Whittingham can hit the ground running. He's going to go in there and try and keep as many of those kids. Bryce Underwood, at one point, had removed all the Michigan stuff from his Instagram page. So that's got to be number one. He's got to get with the boosters and Bryce and say, hey, look, I'm bringing this guy along that used to be my OC at Utah. You can see what he was able to do at Utah with a running quarterback. I think we can use you here in a similar fashion, even more explosive plays possibly. So I think that's going to be the most important thing from Whittingham's perspective and Michigan's perspective. You've got a bunch of kids that are committed. You got kids that are already on the team. You got commits that are coming in. You've got to make sure that you keep as many of them as you can there because those are high quality commits.
Yeah, that's when we were talking. We kicked off the beginning of the show with some comments about it was Fergie, I think, that said we've got to fix this mess. And I have spent the last 2 years thinking about coaches and what you could possibly do to clean that up. Before I give you any ideas I had, Moen, what do you think can be done either to the calendar or the restrictions on movement, coach and player movement, all those things, the NIL and the signing period for the universities. Off the top of your head, what are some of the things you think that could be systemic changes for all of college football to help bring some of that stuff under the covers?
The coaching thing, that can all be resolved very easily via contracts. You just put a clause in a contract that says if you want out before, say, March of a year, you're paying us an extra so much millions of dollars to do that. The rest of the stuff, I don't know. Again, you're going to have some kind of authority that has teeth that can actually influence things, and it's the NCAA. And, you know, I think at some point it's going to fall to the conferences, and I think at some point you're going to see a schism between the conferences on how one set of conferences governs versus how another set of conferences governs.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I have not come up with any easy solutions. I think some of the things like the contractual changes, Michigan's not going to be scared off by any early signing period fee, for instance. That's not going to really restrict anything. I think for a change to have modifications to actually how players move and everything else, we may see, though, where you can fire a coach during the season, but you can't turn around and bring anybody in until months down the road. That includes assistant coaches. I'm not saying that will happen, but whatever they put in has to have teeth. And I don't think money is going to be the thing that's going to stop people.
Again, it would have to be a punitive dollar amount. You're right. Would it affect Michigan? No. But it's for some of these other coaches. If you're Matt Campbell at Iowa State, it would have affected Iowa State, certainly. If there was a punitive penalty clause inside of a contract that said, hey, if you're out before this date, you owe us $10 million. That's
true.
$10 million that Iowa State would be getting paid by Penn State right now.
Yes. Yep,
so
you're right.
I don't think that there should be any government involvement or NCAA involvement on solving the coaching situation. That should be resolved through coaches and agents and contracts.
Okay. Amy S., who I believe is a University of Utah fan, in the house, saying, after Kyle announced that he was stepping away, we decided to go to the Vegas Bowl to see Kyle's last game and wish him well. Now I guess we're going to see Scally's first game as coach. That is kind of a gut punch. I agree with that.
I like them socks and shoes. Check that out. That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is. Definitely. I agree. Okay, let's do a quick show reset. So normally this is the time that I'd be taking off, but since you had to go, I'm going to stick around for a little while longer. Moen, are you going to do an after show?
We'll see how far we get here. We might only do an hour and a half today. But okay. I do want to talk a little bit about, this is our final Big Freaking Friday show of the year.
Go.
So I would like to talk a little bit about some of our less than ideal things that we picked this year.
Okay.
By the way, Clemson is still not winning the national championship.
I know.
But yeah, I want to look back at some of these things that happened this year that I don't think any of us had predicted.
Okay, do it. I'm ready.
To be fair, let me hit some of these super chats first.
I think we've only got 2.
We just
popped up.
We got 3. We hit a glut of them here real quick.
Oh, okay. LC versus the Earth. $5.
You got it.
Did I get it right? Well, I practiced during my show.
Time.
I practiced during my show this week. By the way, LC, thank you so much for being and everybody watching my show on Tuesday. That was about Notre Dame. The show's free. If you happen to not have seen that, I had 4 Horsemen Pod, Dylan on the show with me. We talked about all things Notre Dame. So if you want to get information on that, check my Tuesday night's Bombers Blitz out. That was a lot of fun. But LC was there with me, $5 super chat, and also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, hey, Moen, who do you think Notre Dame will try to bring with them when they join the Big Ten in a few years?
Stanford and Cal would be your top choices.
100%. 100%.
And I'm basing that LC based on the fact that they were the ones who rallied to get Stanford and Cal into the ACC.
Yep.
So I think Stanford would be number one. Now, would they abandon Cal? They might. There might be a better West Coast fit out there. They may say, hey, look, we only need one school in the Bay Area. Let's pick up a Utah. Let's pick up a Colorado. Let's pick up an Arizona State instead.
Not as likely, but I agree with you. I think Stanford is number one. I think Cal is number two. That could potentially leave another spot. They could go to a Utah or Colorado. But I only think two teams are moving. So that means it doesn't really matter who they're friends with. It would be Notre Dame and it would be Stanford. So that's my estimation. Moen, if you were to bet money, your parlay, what would the likelihood be that it's more than 20 schools?
I think it will be more than 20.
Okay. All right. There we go.
It's either going to be, or it can end up 20 with a scheduling agreement with Notre Dame.
That's what I mean. 20 plus one. Yeah.
Yeah. As an affiliate.
Yeah. Marcus Williams in the house. Good to have you here, Marcus. Thank you so much for following us and being an active member of the College Football Mafia Nation. We appreciate you. $2 super chat saying, as a Michigan fan, I don't know how I feel about a 66-year-old coach. Before Moen says anything on this, I will just tell you, of all the coaches you could have gotten in the entire state of college football, Kyle Whittingham's going to be the steadiest. He's going to be the guy who does everything right, will clean up your program. But last but not least is his age. He is 66, but if you look at him, he's been sitting in something like an isolation pod or something for the last 5 years because he is the youngest 66-year-old I've ever met. Not personally, but I've ever seen and been in my circle of influence. So I think you're getting a guy who's really around 60 years old. Maybe 59 even in his the way he does things. But he's super smart, knows football, and he will bring hard nose to the state of Michigan. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, listen, I think you have to understand, Marcus, this isn't a long-term plan for coaching at the University of Michigan. They're bringing Kyle Whittingham in to right the ship, to try and clean up the image of the program. And I think, what's the offensive kid's name again? John Beck?
Jason Beck.
Jay Hill. Yeah. I think if he brings both of those kids over as assistants, it's going to be whoever shows out is going to be the next head coach at Michigan here in 2 to 3 years. If this Beck kid is as good as Utes says, and he works well with Bryce Underwood, and Bryce Underwood sticks around, and, you've got Bryce Underwood on the stage in New York, they may say, hey, head coach in waiting. Whittingham may face that same situation again where they say, hey, look, we got to kind of ease you out the door to make sure that we can secure Beck for our future head coach. And it's a situation we've had in the Big Ten before. I mean, we saw it with Ohio State and Ryan Day. They pushed Urban Meyer, Hall of Fame coach. But they did push Urban Meyer out to make sure that they secured Ryan Day as the new head coach.
Yep, it is modern college football, guys. Coaches getting fired all the time. Coaches going to other programs. If you're holding on with death's grip to any of your coaches, you're just wasting time. One, it's going to add anxiety to your life. You're going to be depressed. It'll keep you down. You just have to understand all coaches, head coaches and assistant coaches, they're all on one-year terms essentially. And if they have a better opportunity to go every year, they'll go. So I'd rather, instead of being negative about it, I would be excited for Jay Hill. I want nothing but positive to come to Jay Hill. I'm not like a lot of Utah fans that I've seen today that are absolutely dragging Kyle Whittingham. So. Evil Badger, $5 super chat. Good to have you here, Ryan. I believe Portnoy will be pissed if Underwood left. We need multi-year contracts with buyout options. I agree with that. What do you think?
Again, that's a contractual situation, but we don't have a CBA.
No CBA. You can't do any of those controls.
We don't have any control module for it. So we need to get a CBA taken care of first. But again, I think that's who is going to be governing who? Is there going to be one governance overlooking all of college football, or are we going to go to a situation like I think we're hurtling towards, where you're going to have conferences setting their own governance?
Yeah, I agree with you. Really quick, I wanted to shout out that Portnoy's really excited. If you didn't catch that, he put out a tweet, and he's very, very excited about the coaching carousel moving through Kyle Whittingham. He's met Kyle, and he's a fan. So he's got deep pockets. So you ought to be, if Portnoy will get behind a coach, I think you guys should get behind a coach.
And hopefully he can slay that dragon with the rest of the hobbits.
Really quick before I get to the next super chat, hang on. I got to show everybody my hat. So this hat is from 1979. My daughter found it in a thrift shop. It's now my new favorite hat. It's foam on top. Moen, you remember old foam hats? They used to be very popular. There's almost no tension in this brim. It's not floppy necessarily, but the whole thing just sort of hangs loose. So it's definitely something that's shown a lot of wear and tear, but it's now become my favorite hat just because of the old school style. This is a BYU helmet put on a foam hat model.
You can hit that little starch and get that to firm up.
Yeah, I don't care. It's fine. I'm all right with leaving it that way. I might just leave it back there just to display it anyway. The next thing is my wife gave me this new Seattle Seahawks going to the Super Bowl, going for the #1 seed. Seattle Seahawks pullover. I also found another one I got 2 years ago that I'm going to be wearing as well. So it's been a good Christmas for Balmer at his house. Trent Brown in the house saying $2 super chat. Long-standing OG member of the College Football Mafia family. My brother's namesake. Love you guys. Merry freaking Christmas. Thank you, Trent. Thank you. You want to give him a sounder there, Moen?
I owe a lot of people sounders, so we're just going to do.
Let's get to one more.
Yeah, let's get in and we'll just do a bunch of sounders.
Okay, that sounds good. Maize and Blue, $5, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Maize and Blue. At least Whittingham didn't empty the cupboard like Jim did when he left. Sorry, Balmer. Hearing some players are possibly looking to leave with Hill. Yeah, it's an uncontrollable. It's quite possible. Yeah, I know of one specifically. You're talking about high performers. But it is what it is. I've chosen to take the path of least resistance and not freak out about it, and we'll just turn the page, move on. But yeah, that is true, absolutely true. Okay, Moen, I think that's all of them.
All right, let me do some sounders, man.
I am feeling the effects of masculinity right now. I feel the testosterone. I want to go to war. I want a lightsaber. I'm a man.
Whoa, Nelly!
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Oh
my head.
He needs some milk. He needs some milk.
You're a bad man, Moen. You're a bad man.
I think we covered everybody with that blast. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats. We do appreciate those.
That is really, really good. So, okay, Moen, let's do your year in retrospective.
Year in retrospective. Biggest disappointment, Clemson. My opinion, Clemson.
Absolutely true. Absolutely.
Okay. Your worst take, Nate. What was your worst take of the year?
Oh, boy, there were a bunch. You should have warned me you're going to do this, because then I would have had one top of mind. I don't know. I've been pretty good this year. I think I did horrible on the college football playoff picks. But I was ahead of the curve on BYU. Trying to think. There have to be ones I'm not remembering. Why don't you tell everybody what it is?
Well, I have no idea what your worst take is, but I know
what I don't know. Nothing jumps to
mind.
My
worst take was that Wisconsin was going to be competing for the Big Ten championship. That didn't work out. I also had picked Oklahoma State to be competing for the Big 12 championship. That didn't work out. So just remember, if you're new around here, we do takes that are steaming hot, drizzling turds sometimes, but we just try and get more ahead than we can behind. speaking of which, let's take a look at the brackets for the bracket challenge we did.
How we doing?
This is how we're doing. Right now, myself, Rock, and Becky are the only ones that have a perfect bracket.
Okay.
So far.
I was 50-50, so.
Yeah. Wild U and Pickles were both 75%, so they were off by 1 pick. And Bomber and Gygax, you missed 2 picks. You both missed 2 picks on that. So
yeah, Oklahoma screwed me. Right, Oklahoma screwed me.
We still got a lot of ground to cover in round 2, round 3, round 4. There's ways to make those points up. We'll see if that can happen for you, Bomber. But that's what we're looking at right now as far as the bracket challenge. So,
all right,
should be good.
We have another super chat just popped in from Marcus. $2 super chat. Moen, if Big Ten goes to 24, does Big Ten go heavy Southeast?
Depends on how heavy you're talking. What are we talking heavy? You're taking at least Miami. Everybody I talked to, everybody said Miami. 2 people said Georgia Tech. So you're getting at least 2 out of the Southeast right there, Miami and Georgia Tech. The question is, and you can go and watch, you're a member, you can watch that members video I posted. Did the Big Ten and SEC come to some working agreement? If that's the case, the Big Ten and the SEC may just stay out of each other's backyards as much as possible. They may say to the Big Ten, okay, take Metro Miami, take Metro Atlanta. That's your footprint in the Southeast. The rest of it belongs to us. You can have who you want in the West Coast. Maybe they have an agreement over who takes Kansas. But, I'm going to do another analytical video where we're looking at the actual brand valuations and athletic department valuations. And it's pretty scary when you see how much the Big Ten and the SEC already control and how little they need to take to control pretty much everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. That's the last super chat. Okay, what else can you tell everybody about this season here at College Football Mafia Family Network?
We all got the Heisman Trophy wrong. Nobody had Fernando Mendoza. Absolutely nobody. Wasn't even in the top 5 for most people. So there you go. Clemson was the most picked team. Not only for conference championships, they were the most picked team to win the ACC. They were the most picked team to win the national championship. They were the most picked team in the playoffs. They were the most picked team in the championship game. Clemson absolutely collapsed.
Well, Penn State was second.
Penn State was second. Yeah. And funny enough, Penn State is playing Clemson in a bowl game. And so that should be interesting. The 2 teams that we had hyped the most, second overreaction, USC. We really overreacted with USC this year.
Yeah.
And last year.
Agreed.
We've overreacted with USC a lot. So,
man, you're talking about, they're turning into the Pacific Coast, Nebraska. I mean, it's just horrific what they're doing with those brands in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but we got some games coming up this week. We've got good bowl games coming up. We've got playoff games coming starting next Wednesday, December 31st.
Let me give a quick preview to BYU tomorrow afternoon. Plays against Georgia Tech since Notre Dame ducked them. And that's tomorrow afternoon at 3:30 Eastern time. Like last year with BYU and Colorado, this BYU Georgia Tech game is probably going to be the biggest one of the offseason that isn't a playoff game. If not it might be second. But it's the one that most people are paying attention to. And Georgia Tech was good this year. They just had a couple mistakes. In other words, they might have won the ACC and gone to the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, there was a 5 or 6 team tie for the ACC. So saying that they might have won the
game. They needed one game is all. So I would just recommend everybody watch that tomorrow. I think it's on ESPN. I'm not sure which one's the Pop-Tart Bowl. But BYU should play well, regardless of this Jay Hill player stuff. Players can't move till January 2nd anyway, so I guarantee you they're going to be loaded for bear. And Klein doesn't show up to these things and just screw around. He's going to come and he wants to win and win big, because he knows that's been part of the problem for BYU. So I would just tell everybody to look forward to that. Nebraska-Utah is next week. That's another game that I think will be good. But Moen, of all the quarterfinal games in the CFP, which is your highlight and which is your low light?
Texas Tech, Oregon's got to be my highlight. I think that's going to be a shootout. I think that game's going to be, like Helen of Troy with her ass on fire. I think that game is going to go nuts. I'm picking the over heavy. I'm taking Oregon. I'm taking Oregon. I'm picking the over. I just like Oregon to win that, and I think it might be a double overtime type game. I think it could be like a double overtime, comes down to a successful 2-point conversion type game.
Let me just give you a little bit of I don't think Texas Tech wins a shootout. I think Texas Tech keeps it to 27, 24, something like that. Because their defense is why they're there in the first place. Is their defense was able to shut down BYU twice and Utah once. They're not there because they scored mad amounts of money or points.
I agree with you, but I think Dante Moore could throw.
Yeah, Oregon's going to do well. Oh,
see,
I see.
I think Texas Tech could do some scoring defense.
I hear you now. Okay, yes, that could happen, definitely. Yeah.
And I think Oregon's going to be airing the ball out.
Yes, you're right. They could have some pick sixes. Yep.
So I think you could see some defensive scoring from Texas Tech. In fact, I might put a prop bet on Texas Tech defense to score a touchdown.
I think that's a good idea.
That's a good prop bet.
I would maybe heavy stack that one. Yeah.
And then the least for me is Georgia Ole Miss. I just think Georgia's such a better team than Ole Miss, especially after losing Lane Kiffin. And I don't think that game's going to be as competitive as people think it's going to be. But I feel the same way about the Ohio State-Miami game. I don't think that game's going to be as competitive as people think it's going to be.
So I'm looking forward most to the Texas Tech game for obvious reasons. The one that I would like to be close, and I'm not sure it will be, but I'd love to have it, is Ohio State-Miami. Of all the matchups of the brands, that's my favorite one going into this weekend, that next weekend.
Yeah, that's got a good storyline to it.
It does.
There's really not a storyline between the other brand. I mean, like Indiana, Alabama, there's a little bit of a storyline there. Kurt Signetti was a coach there for a while, as an assistant. But I mean, Ohio State, Miami, you've got that 2003 national championship game.
And it's still hanging out there.
They're still disputing about the flag. Tune in on Sunday. We'll go in depth on the Ohio State Miami game. You have an Ohio State guy and a Miami guy there, so we'll definitely be going
rock and rant.
We'll go in depth on that one on Sunday night for sure.
Balls deep is how we say that. That will be Rock and Rant, and the Moen After Dark will be there. And I would just tell everybody to tune in. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Should be a fun show. Oh, sorry, 7 time. I'm sorry. Have you made that permanent change?
No, that's only during the NFL season. We try and get in there between that game and the 8:15 game. So
okay. Very good. LC versus the Earth, another $5 super chat, and somebody I love having in our College Football Mafia family. My biggest disappointment of 2025, finding out Poison will not be touring next year because Brett Michaels wanted 50% of the gross revenue. I loved Poison when I was in high school. You were in elementary school.
I'm not a big hair metal guy, so but I
would love to see Poison.
I will say this: I've developed a new appreciation for it from watching Peacemaker on HBO.
You like that show?
Because they work in like a hair metal song every episode, and I find myself singing the song throughout the day, and then it's like that song was by Nelson, and I'm like, what? Okay,
that's funny stuff.
But yeah, hey. Still lots of great groups out there touring, man.
I know. Get out to see them because they're all now in their 60s and going to 70s, so they can't do it for much longer. I mean, we've already lost We lost George Michael years ago, obviously, but we lost him too early. Phil Collins now has throat cancer. He's not touring. Who was it? Who sang Song Sung Blues? Who is that?
Neil Diamond?
Yeah, didn't Neil Diamond just die? It was him or
no? Barry Manilow was
Barry Manilow just died.
Yeah, no, he was diagnosed with cancer. He's not.
Oh,
dead
I thought.
yet.
He's not dead yet. Okay, good. I'm glad. I like all of them.
He's actually going to be in Columbus, and we were talking about going to see him.
That would be a fun show, I bet. That would be a fun show.
Not for me, but I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go.
Another $5 super chat. Thanks, Moen. I don't believe Wisconsin will be contenders for a long time. I'm second in the ESPN Bull Pick'em. Let's go. Good job, Ryan.
I don't know if Rockin' Rant still in front. Ryan, that was the last time I checked. I know I'm not doing great. But thank you for that super chat, Ryan. Let me give you a little Badger sounder.
Absolutely.
And let me give one for LC versus the Earth. Let me see if I can find a good one. Here we go.
You take drugs, Danny?
Every day.
Good. So what's the problem?
I don't know.
That movie's so good, man. Before we get to any other comments, because I think we're through all the super chat, Moen, what is your favorite holiday movie? Christmas movie. Let's be very clear.
Oh man, I know it's such a terrible answer to say it. Everybody's going to say it's a Christmas story. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
It sure is.
Die on this hill. It's a movie that takes place at Christmas. It doesn't make it a Christmas movie.
Oh, okay.
A Christmas Story.
Yeah, Christmas Story's good. It's in my top 5. I'm an oldies kind of guy, so White Christmas. What's the one with Jimmy Stewart in it?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah, well, It's a Wonderful Life. And then my family does the series of like all Harry Potter, all Lord of the Rings, all Star Wars. So those are all family sort of tradition type movies. But yeah, you will never get me to talk bad about It's a Wonderful Life. I think that's the best, maybe the best movie ever made.
Another good one that doesn't get a lot of love is Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Yeah, that's not one of my favorites.
Bill Murray's performance in it makes it.
I like it. All right, one other thing I wanted to get to, and then we're gonna tee out of here a little bit early. And I don't know if I have give me 1 second if I can bring up the link. There is this story, bookmarks, there we go. This story about the professional basketball player coming back to play college football basketball. I can't find the link. Anyways, BYU sort of broke the ice by bringing back a G League player, somebody that didn't play college basketball at all and never made it in the NBA. So he went to the G League. BYU brought him in. Baylor has broken the bank by bringing in a guy who was drafted number 31 in the NBA draft. And for those of you that don't know, there's only 30 teams in the NBA. So he was the very first pick of the second round. And he's going to be playing for the Baylor Bears with 4 years, count them, 4 years of eligibility. Moen, I mean, you just shake your head.
Again, if we had a collective bargaining agreement for college athletes, wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah, I you can't disagree with that. I agree. If you have a CBA, you can put into place things like revenue, not only revenue sharing numbers, but the maximums you can pay, a salary cap. If you have a CBA, you can put in a full whole litany of cost controls.
Before we leave, let's run a quick poll.
Please do.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I will die on this hill that it's a movie that takes place at Christmas, does not make it a Christmas movie. The central point of the plot is not surrounding Christmas.
Well, it kind of is, because he's coming back to see his family because it's Christmas.
Yeah, but it's a plot device to get everybody into the building.
It's still part of the show.
It's just a plot.
Let's run that for 2 minutes. Let's run that for 2 minutes.
Okay, but here's my thing. Like Trading Places in that case would be a Christmas movie.
I think Trading Places is a Christmas movie.
No, it's a movie.
The whole thing with the ag report, that always happens is in January 1st or 2nd of every year.
Yeah, but that's New Year's, so it's a New Year's movie.
Well, no, the whole scheme runs through all of Christmas.
But it's not a Christmas movie.
He's walking around in a Santa outfit that's arguably the most horrible thing. I can't even imagine putting that thing on. But both those movies to me are Christmas movies. I'm curious what people think. Let's get to another super chat here, and then we'll wind that thing down. Marcus Williams, $2 super chat. Separate athletic departments from scholarships. Yeah, that's another way you could go about doing cost controls. I don't know.
Rocky IV is a Christmas movie, and it ended the Cold War.
And I'm all for Rocky IV being a Christmas movie. I'm all for it.
I just love at the end of it that Rocky Balboa's inspirational speech ends the Cold War. Lethal Weapon is also a Christmas movie. Okay. Takes place around Christmas. So again, we're gonna have a lot of movies. I'm gonna come prepared next Big Freaking Friday. I'm gonna show you guys all those movies that we have to consider Christmas movies because they take place during Christmas. Whether Christmas is part of it or not.
I think it's the way to go. Wind that thing up. I gave him 2 minutes. What's the final
score?
Here we go.
Christmas allows for the heist to happen, and it's a Christmas party.
Yes.
It's a miracle he survives.
What Fergie says, he and I are the same age. So, yeah. Yeah. I saw Die Hard in high school. So, let's go.
72% of people believe it's a Christmas movie. I am not. No, sir.
What was it again? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
72% believe it is a Christmas movie.
That's not a small amount, Moen.
But that's only 18 votes. Friday After Next is a Christmas movie as well. Yeah, that's what we're just gonna have to agree to disagree, people.
What's this one? I don't get this one from Nathan Campbell. Good to see you, Nathan, by the way. Bomber James Bond. Was there a Christmas movie? No, wait a second. Christmas is a plot device if you want to. Yeah.
Which James Bond?
You don't go to Christmas twice a year. Or wait, what was that line?
You only live twice.
Came to Christmas twice a year. What is the line, guys? Somebody help me out. Nathan, what is the line about Christmas? Christmas is the name of a girl. One of his girlfriends. But I can't remember what I came to Christmas twice this year or something like that. Anyway, that's a great line. That's another high school line. Die Hard has miracles. Ho, ho, ho.
And now I've got Nate saying ho, ho, ho.
Let's see here. Shonsky, I don't think it's either, Moen. He's on your side.
Let's just say we'll have to agree to disagree. I'll take 99.9% of the time. I'll take it.
Nathan's saying all the James Bonds come out at winter. So that's what he's talking about.
Now we'll have a debate on who the best James Bond is, and I'll tell you why it's Roger Moore.
Not tonight. Oh my gosh, what?
It is.
It's Sean Connery.
No.
It's Sean Connery, and then it's a pick'em. It's everybody and then Sean Connery.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore was campy, jokey.
That was just the themes of the movies, but he was charming as a motherfucker, dude.
He was not badass, though. James Bond's badass.
But he's charming and suave, and that's what Roger Moore was.
Pierce Brosnan, he's my number 2 because of GoldenEye. The rest of the movies throw away, but the best movie outside of Sean Connery's movies was Pierce Brosnan and GoldenEye. There's no doubt about that.
Roger Moore.
All right. Let's wrap this up. Moen, last comments as we get out of here. Our last Big Freaking Friday show for 2025.
I want to wish everybody, I hope you all had a happy Christmas, a Merry Christmas. Have a happy and safe New Year, people. Guys, if you're going to do not drive. Most bars will pay for you to get a ride home. Lyft and Uber both do specials on New Year's Eve to give people free rides home. You can come pick up your car the next day, or you can just do your drinking at home like I do.
Yep.
And because that's where you need it the most. But I want to thank Bomber and you and Becky and Pickles and Rock and Rant and Daniel Gygax and Jackson Johnson and everybody else.
Fergie in there.
Fergie.
Absolutely.
Everybody who helped make the College Football Mafia the brand it is today. Appreciate it. I agree. That makes it a happy new year.
Lord, there we go. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Moen wants to thank me too for making him laugh. Thank you too for making me laugh tonight, Rich Austin. Thanks to everybody. Happy New Year. We will catch you guys in 2026.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. As Moen just said, we don't need to say that all again twice, but thank you for your continued ownership and loyalty to the College Football Mafia family. We aren't one person. We're a team, and we count you as part of that team. So continue to look us and see us into 2026. And I will say this offseason is going to be our biggest offseason ever. More member videos, more content on the way college football is run, the money, more contacts. We'll be bringing back Bob Thompson. I've got some tentative. I'm not gonna spill the beans, but I've got several creators, not creators, but like Dickey, the AD at Boise State. He's somebody that said he'd come back on the show. We're gonna be doing big heart pounding type interviews, and we do stuff nobody else does. So thank you so much, Moen. Thank you. If you was here, I would thank him. But thanks for being part of our College Football Mafia family. And catch Moen on Sunday night for Moen. What is it, Moen? What's Sunday night?
Sunday at 7 p.m. Moen After Dark. Myself and Rock and Rant will be discussing the Ohio State-Miami game. As you might consider, we're going to try and keep it friendly rivalry, but not friendly rivalry like other rivalries. So,
and I would say that Tuesday night I might do a show. We'll have to see what the news is over the weekend. Certainly the shakeout, the Kyle Whittingham move to Michigan is going to affect universities galore here in Utah, and there's more news going to be coming on that. So I might do a show on Tuesday.
Okay. I might do a watch party on Wednesday. We'll see how it goes, because
that could be good. That's a good idea.
Yeah, maybe having
I will definitely pop in on that. Check to see how you're doing.
A little of the Brown and watch Ohio State beat Miami.
Be safe. If you have a stray thought of a friend or family member that you haven't heard from, or seen in a long time, their name jumped into your head for a reason, do Bomber a favor. Send that person a text at the very, very least. I would prefer you go visit them and then give them a call would be the third option. But definitely do that, because I do not believe in accidents, and I do believe in miracles in my life. And I know for a fact that there have been times I've saved people from making very dire, very long affecting changes in their lives by getting a hold of them and saying hi. So I want to encourage you do that and make the world a little bit better place. So for Moen, this is Bomber at the College Football Mafia family. We appreciate all of you, and we will see you next time. Peace. Go Cougs.